Welcome in to a live edition of the Cavalier Connection. For once, you guys, I'm sorry, you only have Jay and I. We don't have Jack. We don't have a special guest. I feel like here we do very few shows with just us turds, old turds. But
Oh,
we've had great guests. If you haven't caught it, I'm gonna do a quick shout out. And it's just been one after another, including just earlier this week, Jeff Jones, former UVA basketball coach. You don't want to miss that. Definitely tune in. Some great stories, especially for the old guys like us, as well as all you young folks. Go take a look at Virginia basketball in the golden age of the ACC. These are great stories. Jay, how are you
yeah,
doing tonight?
those mid '90s, teams were something. Early mid '90s, and even going back before that to the '80s, which is a little bit before our time, even. But some great teams, and then some just great stories from all those guys. It's like when we talked to Fresh, he was like, now. Or actually, Coach Jones said, that now that they feel like the statute of limitations has gone past,
Oh,
they
yeah.
can be honest and tell all the stories.
That's
And
right.
Coach Jones is like, I don't want to know.
Right.
Oh,
I could just sit there. If we could just get a bunch of those guys, I need to get the Jeff Jones reunion cookout, and I
yeah,
just want to sit there and
have a
just sit
round
around the
table.
campfire and just listen. I don't have
Yep.
to say a word. But
Nope.
hopefully, when those guys come back into town next year, we're going to benefit and we get some guys on the show. Um,
Yeah.
but
I still think
tonight, we go
we can
ahead.
get some of those stars we haven't gotten yet, in the Stiffs and the Karates and some of those guys, the Cornell Parkers of the world.
So
Those guys.
So, quick idea out there before we really get going into tonight's episode. If there are any sponsors out there, and I'm talking right now, what I'm talking about is a furniture store, Haynes, or Mom and Pop's Furniture, or any furniture store, who'd be willing to give us a little sponsorship, let us come in, and we get some of the guys for the cookout. We come in, we do a show from you guys. We'll set up a little couch in your furniture store. We're gonna preach you up. We're gonna talk you up big, and we all just have a sit around. And Jay and I will pose a couple questions, and then we'll just sit back
Yep.
and
Get
just
out of
let
the
the
way.
stories flow. So, furniture stores out there, let us know. That's our first start. If we can get the furniture store to get on board,
Yeah.
if not, they might be over here in my house at on the couch.
Yeah. I
I
hear
might
that.
get kicked out the house myself. But anyway, tonight we'll start out. Jay, big win for the Who's on Saturday over Richmond, 34-13. I'm gonna get your take, but real quick, I do want to mention I'm $40 richer off of that game. And no, I didn't make a bet on the game, but Jay and I have had a standing agreement for over 20-25 years. If we predict the final score of a Virginia football or basketball game correct, we paid the other one a 20. Jack decided this year he wanted to get in on this. So first game of the season, and I know it's hard to hear me in Charlottesville when I did that announcement for the basket from Mincer's.
I
The
went back
crowd,
and watched it. It was pretty clear, Jeff.
but I had it right, and that's crazy enough, folks. I know you feel as if we're experts at picking games. I know you believe in our expertise. That's the first time we've gotten one right, and
Exactly.
and
Yeah,
so
exactly.
exactly right. And Jack's first game participating, and he had to cough up a 20. And Jay sent me a 20. And so it was a good week. And actually I used Jack's 20 today at the Wawa. So
Oh, there you
thank
go.
thank you for lunch, Jack. But great win, Jay. What were your thoughts off of that game?
Well, before the game, even I want to talk about just going around and meeting so many fans. That was a great experience. Starting out with the Valley Who's, shout out to you guys. You really showed us a good time there and welcomed us. And then to the Stadium Road Who's, and then the Who's in the Ditch. Is
Who's in
that
the ditch?
Who's in the
Yep.
Ditch? Yeah, we visited all three of those, and then just met a ton of people, all good old Virginia fans, and so we were fortunate in that regard. Um, the winner of the basket that we had from Minster's. We want to thank Minster's again for sponsoring a gift basket. That was from the winner. Do you remember the name, Jeff?
Yeah, Stadium Road Crew, and it was Josh King.
Okay, so yeah, I know we posted a picture and stuff, but that was super fun. And actually, I got to do something really cool at the game, Jeff. You know this, but I applied for media a media pass for this game, first time ever. As a member of the College Huddle, if you don't know what the College Huddle is, go to thecollegehuddle.com. We are the official rep for the University of Virginia. So we represent the College Huddle, and we got approval. We got an approval for that game. So I was able to sit up in the press box and talk to, the Jerry Ratcliffes and the Jackie Franchulis and the Lawrence Johnsons of the world, and kind of pick their brains on some stuff.
And who brought you in?
Oh yeah, this was a good one. So I'm in the van, the shuttle, the media shuttle from the media parking lot, and our boy the ball hawk gets in. So I had a good 5-10 minute talk with the ball hawk. He was super excited to get that first game in, as the play-by-play guy. Super nice. I'm gonna tell you, what people don't know about him is how nice he really is. Like, we're nobodies, right? He's the ball hawk, and he don't have to pay us any mind. But he, as I get out of the van, it's first time as a media member, he's like, well, I'll show you exactly where to go. And he walked me up to the gate, showed me where to go. He's shaking hands with people. Just super nice guy, down to earth. We love that guy. But and he does a great podcast. The Believe podcast actually just came out. I haven't watched it yet because it just came out. But his preview of Wake Forest is out, so I'll definitely give that a watch and a listen at some point before the game with Wake. But getting into the Richmond game, it was you couldn't ask for a better start. And to me, that's what I'm really looking at the most is that first quarter. You come out, you get a 3 and out, force that punt, and then 3 plays later, you're in the end zone. And so it just set the tone for what I thought was a dominant performance. I put up a Twitter poll, Jeff, for the game. After the game, did you get basically less than you expected, about what you expected, or do you think they performed better than you were expecting? And it was actually like 47% tie with what you expected versus, even better than you expected. So I think everybody pretty much in the fan base was happy with how the team played. The only concern that I saw a lot of on the message boards was with the defensive front. And so I had talked about this. I don't know if I talked about it to you or if it was somebody. I think it might have been Scott up in the booth I was talking to, but it didn't look like Virginia was sending a lot of pressure. I think they tried to get home with their 4 guys, and then Richmond's quarterback was a running quarterback. So they wanted to keep him in the pocket, kind of make him feel like he was getting pressured, even if he necessarily wasn't. And they did a good job of that. They held him to, I think, 39 yards, 37 yards, something like that on the ground, 12 carries. And so, Richmond seemed content to just kind of dink and dunk and try to get 3 or 4 yards, another first down, and, kind of work the clock, shorten the game. But when Virginia was up 17-0 after the first quarter, and then we had the long weather delay. I think it was a little over 2 hours. And the guys, unlike last year, that was another talking point. Last year we had the problems, coming out and blowing the game against JMU. This year we come out, we get the kickoff because Richmond had just scored, if you remember. They have to kick off to us for the first play, and then we go straight down the field and score immediately. So I think we just set the tone. We owned that game from beginning to end. So I was very pleased. Even though the final score that I had was like greater, I had 45-13. And they didn't win by as much as I had predicted, I would still say they exceeded my expectations because of how they did it. They could have poured it on. They just chose not to. So I was very happy with the performance. What about you?
Yeah. Well, I think, on top of it, you're ahead by so much. There's been bad weather, no reason to get anybody hurt. I know you mentioned Ball Hawks podcast. Definitely go give it a listen, especially his reaction to that game. It was a great episode, and even listening to him, he addressed that defensive line exactly what you just said, Jay.
Yep.
It was not, we weren't sending guys. If we sent a linebacker, we had a lineman dropping back into coverage. He said we were very vanilla. We didn't give Wake Forest anything, to put on tape to watch.
Right.
And the pass defense gave up 100 and I was just looking it up real quick, 110 yards passing. I mean,
Yeah.
they were as Kempton told us last week, they knew the quarterback was there to run. And really rushing, we gave up 147 rushing yards. However, a big chunk of that was on that one play.
Yeah.
And also, chasing him down and knocking, they could have just gave up on that and let him go because it looked like he was gone. And
Right.
I don't recall who made that tackle, but took that angle and just never gave up.
I want to say that was
Made the tackle.
Clary, but I could be wrong.
Making that tackle and that without that tackle, I'm not winning 20s because I thought he was going in the end zone.
Yeah.
And then to get that sack, we only had the one sack, but like we said, I don't think they were even bringing pressure. There's more of a vanilla defense. I mean, I thought the pass defense was really good. I don't even think our guy Kempton had a ball thrown his way. Not one. I don't recall one because I was calling for him to get a pick.
Yeah.
Every dang play, I was like, "Come on, throw one." I wanted to see Kempton take one to the house.
I feel like he might have had one, but I don't know if it was a catchable ball. But
I know he had one tackle, and that was on a run, I believe. But and another thing Ball Hawk talked about was the amount of tackles the defensive line made in that game. And I don't have them in front of me, but let me see. I may have it here. Defensive linemen counted for quite a lot of tackles.
Oh yeah.
And so if your defensive line is the one making tackles, they're not doing a bad job. So typically,
and they weren't tackles 5 yards down the field either. They were, 2-3 yards at the most.
Correct. And also I thought that Sanker boy, I mean, that man is all over the field. He's just making plays. You just see that number popping up everywhere, all over the field. I was impressed. And like you said, to get started, 3 plays and a touchdown, see us go down the field. That's what Calandria offers you. He ain't scared. And there was a couple bonehead plays by Calandria, cost us some points. Or, that sack he took in the first half, trying to make something happen and running backwards, losing 20 yards. That's not good.
Yeah.
And I think that counts against his rushing yards, right?
Yes, it did. Because officially, I think he might have only had like 40 something, but he had
49.
But he had more than that.
You'd have had 70 yards without that.
Yeah.
We had the one turnover by Musket. That's another one that Ball Hawk, I thought, made a great point. It was a funny point he made. I know you listened to his podcast as well. Yeah. On that 4th down play, he said, "Throw it down the field." That he said, as a defensive player, worst case scenario, they intercepted, and as a defensive player, they ain't looking to bat the ball down. And he gave a funny story from when he was in the Arena League that he got chewed out by his coach. He picked one off. They would have had the ball at the other 10 or 20
5-yard line.
Instead, they got the ball on their end because he picked it off. He's like, but like he said, you never know, that pick might mean something in your personal records. He said, "Well, I'm gonna get that pick," even though he told the coach I screwed up. But then he said when he got home, he's like, "Nah, man, I got me a pick."
Right, so, that's right.
But and I know on your Twitter poll you said was the game exactly how you thought, or better or worse or whatever? I don't remember exactly, but the one thing I do know is exactly what I thought, because I thought 34-13, and I'll never let you forget that one. So
yeah, I gotta catch you. I gotta catch you on that. Get that 20 back.
Right. I've left that one in the Venmo in case I got to forward it back across. But so that's gonna lead us to we have a new Cavalier Gold Connection of the week. Can your IRA or 401k stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your retirement into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. With a multi-trillion-dollar trade deficit and geopolitical instability, experts say now is the time to make the switch. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Protect your retirement today with one simple phone call and receive your free gold and silver guide. Call Genesis Gold today at 1-800-200-GOLD or go to cavaliergold.com. And if you call, make sure you tell them Cavalier Gold sent you. Here we go. This is our Cavalier Gold Connection of the week.
1 and 3. Calandria to throw, taking a shot downfield into the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown. Trell Harris, the other transfer from Kent State. They have been high on him throughout camp, and Harris makes a big play.
Yeah, that was a exciting way to start the year.
And
go ahead.
What did who did Kempton Shine say last week? Who was the first name he brought up to look out for on the offensive side? 3 plays in, Kempton Shine looked like a genius. But that's something me and Kempton have in common. I can pick final scores and he can pick who to look out for. 3 plays and 6. That was awesome. Nice throw it behind, underthrow him a little bit. He came back to the ball right in the end zone. And that's just an excellent start to the season. So
can I also say how awesome? There's a few awesome things to talk about. One, I love the white helmet with the orange jersey.
Yep.
That's my favorite combination.
Yep.
And then my God, the Jumbotron.
Oh yeah.
The sound system.
Yep.
The lighting.
Yep.
I was blown away.
Yep.
If you didn't go to the game this week and you get a chance to go to any game, you should go just to see how impressive it is and how the sound. I mean, when that board is playing, I mean, the bass is outrageous on that thing. And they listened to the fans again. Adventures of Caveman came back. You know, kind of a new age version of the Caveman Adventures, but a lot of people had been wanting him to come back, and that came back. So all in all, man, Virginia Tech lost. We had that performance. I don't think that day could have been any better.
Nope.
No injuries, you know.
Yep. And also, quick shout out to Carla Williams. Amongst all of that, you got the new football facility. Also, I just want to mention the way they handled with the rain delay and the exiting of the stadium. And, you know, they in fact, they told us we could go to our cars before they even suspended the game. They knew it was coming. You can go to your car, you can get back in. When we came back in, there was no scanning of tickets. It was just show us your ticket, come on in. Like, they handled it really well. It was really smooth. You know, not all of us were sitting in a press box in the warmth and shelter. I had myself, Jack, and a couple kids in the back seat of the car as we waited out the rain delay. But anyway, so I shout out. I thought they handled that really, really well. And like you said, Jay, that Jumbotron's awesome. The lighting, everything was really good. So kudos to the Who's, you know, for all of that. So now we've got Wake Forest this coming Saturday. We travel down to Wake Forest. I think they're a 2.5-point favorite. Am I right?
Yeah, I saw 2 was last thing. I think it's I mean, it just depends on the site, I'm sure.
I'm trying to figure out if I should drive. It's legal in North Carolina now to bet?
I don't know, but it may not be legal. You might need to drive just to West Virginia just to be sure, in case they have the same rules we have. where you
Well,
can't bet on the in-state school.
that's a long drive for that little $5 bet I would make. But I'd like to get into a state where I can make a quick bet on this one, because I'm telling you, I love the Who's in this one.
Mhm.
Jay, what's your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I'm excited to watch this one. I think Virginia is going to have a really good season. We've been saying this for some time, and honestly, I know it was Richmond, and the naysayers will say, "Well, of course you won. It was against Richmond." But it's not just how you win, right? We've beaten Richmond almost every time we played them, or the William and Mary, or whoever it is you open up with, right? But it's the way that they did it. They were impressive. They were confident. And they came to me just coming out, and they did it like they used to do in the Welsh days, when we're coming out the gate, we're going to blow you out early, and then the rest of the game would be whatever it is. Wake Forest struggled mightily for a half with North Carolina A&T. At one point, I looked late second quarter. I think they had a 3-point lead, and they went on to win by 30 or so. They obviously got it together in the second half. But what I think you're going to see in this game is Virginia's going to turn up the pressure a little bit. They're not going to have to worry about this kid running. Backenmeyer, I think is his name. He's a traditional pocket passer. He wants to stand back there and kind of pick you apart. He had 2 rushing attempts against A&T, and I'm assuming they were probably scrambles, not seeing the game. So he's not looking to run, which should play to our strengths. I mean, I think our secondary is a strength.
I do
too. They like to play that slow running game where it looks like it's a handoff, then he'll pull it out and try to hit you over the top. But this ain't the kid Hartman. When Hartman was there, Wake Forest was really good. This ain't him, and they don't have the weapons that they had then. They don't have the defense they had then. This is more of the Wake Forest, I think, that we've known. They closed last year with 6 losses in a row or something like that. So they've been struggling. This is a game that you need to win early to send a message that, hey, and when I say win, I mean win in dominant fashion. It doesn't have to be, like Richmond. I don't think it will be that easy, but I think our offense is going to probably they're not going to slow down our offense. If we beat ourselves, maybe that could happen. It does concern me if we don't have McHale back. How are we going to hold up on the O-line, with pass protection? But they did a good job Saturday. And, my final score prediction is Virginia 31-20 with a relatively easy win. I don't think it's going to be even as close as that score indicates. I think we may jump on them early, and it wouldn't shock me if we put even more of a win together than that. Obviously, Vegas feels differently, and Vegas is usually pretty smart. So, as Jackie said, though, when we talked to her, those are national people. And the national word on Virginia is we're not very good.
Right.
So, I think this is an opportunity, if you could put some money on Virginia with that insider knowledge of, hey, this is a good team, you'd have an opportunity to make some hay. But
yeah. I love our secondary and Wake Forest throwing the football. They ran for in their game, but it's against North Carolina A&T. They ran for 193 yards, threw for a bunch, 320. But that was North Carolina A&T. I think we are going to turn up the pressure this week. They'll see something that we didn't show against Richmond. Kempton's going to get us a pick here at some point. I'm excited to see it. But I've got Virginia 27-17 over Wake.
One thing I'll say too, Jeff, is North Carolina A&T ran the ball. Their running back had 121 yards on 16 carries.
Yep. And they had another back that ran for 70. On 19 carries.
So Kobe Pace, Greasy, Xavier Brown, you boys be ready, because I think you're going to get the rock.
Well, I meant to mention that when we were giving a Richmond recap was how well we ran the football. Pace looked really good.
He did.
we ran as a team for 200, and
Yeah.
I love to watch us be able to run the ball down somebody's throat and they can't stop it. And then
Yep.
and then having Calandria with his mobility too, he's going to make plays happen.
Yep.
Uh, and one more thing, Ball Hawk should share this episode, so I'm going to give him another shout out. He said we need to have somebody on our sideline like Deion Sanders does, because to let the coach know,
Yeah.
Calandra needed 3 yards for 300. Pace needed what? 5 yards for 100. He finished what? 95 yards, I think it was.
93. I think.
93 needed 7 yards. Get them to yards.
Jeff, and I do want to point out, I mean, you might have gotten the score right, but my God, a moronic pick to say Calandria would pass for 300. I mean, you're whole 3 yards away.
Right. Right. Malachi Fields, that was awesome out of him too. He got 100 yards receiving. First time in his career.
Yep. 100 on the button.
Yep. So anyway, Virginia Wake Forest Saturday night at 6, I believe.
Yep.
In Winston-Salem. Wish I was going to be there.
Tickets are cheap if you're close. They're like $9-10 for seats.
Maryland coming up after that at home. I think maybe next week I believe we may be having Jerry Radcliffe on to preview the Maryland game. And next Wednesday also we've got are supposed to have another former mid-90s Who basketball player. So all the old people and young tune in for that one. So we're going to move on. Let's talk a little NFL. NFL season starts tonight. I think, has it started, Jay? I know we had rain delay.
I don't have the game on. I've got something on. I thought it was going to be the game, but it's not. So it was supposed to kick off at 40 after. So if I could find Peacock, I would tell you. It should have.
So the game's getting ready to start. Oh, the game has started. The Ravens are behind the chains already, 2nd and 13. It just started.
Okay.
But giving a little quick NFL talk, Jay. We never reviewed the NFC. What are your thoughts on the NFC?
I think you got a lot of really good teams in the NFC, and I don't see a clear-cut favorite. I'll just, the teams that could win it: San Fran, the Rams, the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Lions, the Packers. I would probably draw the line at those teams. One of those teams would be the top team. And I know we're giving our Super Bowl picks right in just a second. So I'll go ahead and lead off with the Super Bowl picks. It's hard to go against Kansas City in the AFC until it's done. But just to be a little bit of a contrarian, I'm going to do that anyway. And I want to say the Lions to come out of the NFC, and that's hard to have come out of my mouth. But I believe it. I just believe that they have a really good team, and they're well coached, and they're mentally tough. And they were so close last year.
Right.
They kind of choked. But I'll take the Lions over Cool Hand Joe Burrow, and the Bengals getting back into the playoffs and getting it to the Super Bowl and losing to the Lions.
Man, he'd be good at that. That'd be 2 of them.
Yeah.
So you named every playoff team I have in the NFC. My playoff teams, and crazy enough, I have the Falcons getting the 1 seed, and that's really based on division. I have Falcons, Packers, Philly, Rams, 49ers, Lions, and Dallas as my playoff teams.
Yeah.
And in the AFC, I had the Chiefs, Ravens, Bengals, Bills, Dolphins, Jags, and Chargers as my up and coming team. But so my Super Bowl is actually dang close to yours. I have the Rams playing the Bengals. But I got old Joe Burrow getting, he saved up the head, cleaned up.
Yeah, he's going.
I went ahead and gave him Super Bowl 1 for him. If there's a team in the AFC to beat Kansas City, Joe Burrow has done it before. He's the only one.
Right.
But so he has a little experience there. He just got a big contract today, extension.
Oh, he did? I did not see
Yeah,
that.
he got a big one. He's the highest paid player in NFL history now.
Oh, sweet.
So now they got to get Jamar Chase taken care of. Jamar's
Yeah.
got to be like, dang, man. He's getting I forget what the deal is, but
Is it
it's a
60
big
a year? Did he
yeah,
get
it's
to 60?
and they guaranteed this crazy amount. I'm trying
How
to
many
pull it up.
years? Do you remember that?
I'm gonna pull it up right now. It's let's see. Oh well, it's not popping up for me here. I'll tell you who broke it. Was the morning drive on
Oh, Johnny D.
Fox Sports Radio. It broke during that
Oh,
time.
okay.
Joe Burrow. I got to tell you, they broke that this morning. We're gonna have to revisit that because I'm not seeing this, but it was definitely discussed this morning.
I didn't
So
see that. We
I
might
got
have
to
to
go
edit
back.
this out. Oh, it's live. We can't edit.
I know. I got to go back now. But either way, I got Joe Burrow winning the Super Bowl. We did get a pick from Jacko, and he's actually got the Rams as well. He's got Rams over the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I've swore I would never bet against Patrick Mahomes again. Financially, I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes ever again. I'm not putting a
No,
dime up against Pat Mahomes because
no.
he's bit me in the rear end every time. That
Yeah.
guy's something special. But that'll be my Super Bowl pick. How about we got picked our best 3 bets of the week. Jay, you want to go first?
Oh boy. Yeah, so this was tough. You know, Colin Cowherd, who I really like, he didn't even give his Blazing 5 this week. He said he was taking the first week off this year because you just don't know what you're getting. So you kind of,
And if
you like to have some.
if we recall from last year,
He went 0-5.
Jay took Cowherd's picks off of Cowherd's Blazing 5 every week.
Oh no.
He don't think for himself.
But so the first one I picked an underdog, a favorite, and then I went with an over. So the favorite, probably no surprise with my Super Bowl pick. I got the Bengals minus 8.5 over the Patriots. I just think that the Patriots, I don't know how they're going to score a lot.
I agree.
If they get to 14, I'd kind of be surprised. So 8.5 is not that big of a number, more than I like to lay. I don't like to give that many points, but
a lot of points.
Team's gonna be pumped up in the opener, so I'll take that. My underdog, I got the Cardinals plus 6.5 on the road in New York at the Bills. It's no weather concerns in this time of year for Arizona going to Buffalo. Should be good weather. I think both those offenses are going to score quite a few points. And for that reason, to me, that game is, Buffalo's clearly the favorite. They're at home and everything, but I think Arizona's going to score enough points to keep it within that 6.5. And then the last bet, I have an over in the Jacksonville at Miami game, over 48.5. Tua in the first month or two, first 6 weeks or so of the season, Tua is on fire every year. Tyreek, Waddle seem to be healthy. We got Malik Washington down there. If they're not, he can pick up some slack. We got Achane and Mostert, and then the Jags are no slacks. They got Trevor Lawrence and company coming in,
Travis
and
Etienne.
they're not going to lay down. So to me, 48.5. That game could easily get into the 50s. So I'll take over 48.5.
All right, I'm gonna give Jack's picks real quick. So Jack's got in the Dolphins game, he's got the Dolphins minus 3.5. And we, if you learn anything from last year, so take the Jags plus 3.5. He's got the Panthers plus 4. Panthers are playing
Saints.
Saints. That's right. Yeah, I kind of like that pick actually.
Yeah.
And then Texans. He's got Texans minus 3 versus
Colts.
The Colts
in Indianapolis.
So
I do have a confession to make, Joe. I saw Jack's pick of Miami minus 3.5, and I had that, and I switched it to the over. can't. I said I can't go with Jack. I can't do it.
Oh gosh, that's terrible. So that's Jack's picks, and now moving on into mine. I'm break even Jerry, but I've got Falcons. I took the Falcons minus 3.5 against the Steelers. That game's in Atlanta, and I think they're going to want to show off their the new coach can show off what the old coach didn't show off last year. And my boy Bijan, he'll receive 6 catches, 75 yards, and run a touchdown, receive a touchdown. Big game.
Yeah.
Sorry, Robbie Powell. I got the Chargers minus 3 versus the Raiders. Harbaugh's going to come out and send a message to the NFL. That game is, I don't even recall where that game's at.
It's
I
in
think
Los
it's
Angeles.
in LA. Yeah. Not that it matters. I don't know what kind of home
Angeles.
crowd. And then I've got the Broncos at plus 6. They're playing the Seahawks, and I don't know. I think that Bo Nix and the coach, what's his face? Peyton. Thank you. I think they're going to have. I don't know what Seattle's going to be this year. I don't think they're going to be a whole heck of a lot. And I think the Broncos, although I don't think they're a playoff team yet, but I think they're going to surprise some people. And Seattle's not the team. 6 points is a lot of points, so
it is.
I'm going to take the Broncos plus 6 against Seattle. So we'll keep
3 of those.
We'll keep up with these throughout the season, and at one point, Jack will probably be 1-10. I'll probably be 5-6 or 6-5, and Jay will be 8-3. No, the tide's turning. I got the exact score right in the Virginia football game. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. I picked 34-13, and so now that's just the start of big things ahead.
What was your score for this week's game?
27-17.
Okay, all right.
Well, finally, we're going to play Survivor, and we didn't get a pick from Jack. I'll get one from him. I don't think he's picking Kansas City or Baltimore for his Survivor this week anyway. No. But Jay, you want to give yours? You want me to give mine first?
You go ahead and lead off. I led off the other stuff.
Yeah, I'm going safety this week. I don't want to get eliminated week 1. I'm going with my Super Bowl pick, right? Week 1, Bengals over the Pats. Bengals are my Survivor pick.
That's my pick too.
As safe of a pick as you can get, I feel like it's Bengals over the Patriots. So, well, folks, go out there and bet Bengals. Pick the Bengals in your Survivor pools. That's gonna be my pick.
If people don't know what the Survivor pool is, you pick one winner every week, but once you pick that team, you can't pick them again. So, like we picked the Bengals this week. Next week, we can pick any other team to win their game. It just can't be the Bengals. Right. So, and then eventually it seems easy. Last year I got farther than I've ever gotten, Jeff. I made it all the way, I think, to week 12.
Oh, wow.
And my share, I was in a Survivor pool, and my share was up off of a $1 pool. My share was in I want to say like 1,200 or something.
Oh, wow. Crazy. Was this on like DraftKings?
DraftKings. Yeah, it was one of those huge, massive things. Right. You can't cash out though.
Right.
So you're riding till the end. But
right. Who got you?
I'd have to go back and look. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was. It's always one you think there's no way.
Right. And this would be the one. If you go out week 1 with the Bengals, then you got to find one of those that has a second chance.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, I got to get on DraftKings, and I haven't laid a bet in a couple months, guys. I've been clean for probably 3 months. It's football season. I might need to go drop a little bit of money in there, get into the little Survivor pool, maybe a little daily fantasy.
Yeah.
Fantasy starts this week, and we'll probably have some fantasy segments here upcoming, and maybe we'll be fortunate enough to get a fantasy expert to come on and talk a little fantasy football for you guys too.
You already got one of those. It's me.
I don't want to toot my own horn.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but honk.
Folks, let me just tell you, if there's anybody that likes to toot their own horn, Jay Ballard, if you speak to the Redskin fantasy football league and ask who toots their horn the most, J.W. Ballard will be right at the top of the list.
Derrick Henry's on the board with a touchdown, so that guy, whoever had him with a TD, is happy.
Mike Johnson at work. You got one correct. Now you need a Kelsey to turn around and get one. But that's what we got tonight. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Definitely, we need you to hit subscribe. Hit subscribe. Here's all of our accounts. We have a ton of you on X. I don't know what the number of followers are, but it's a lot. I need all that to transfer over to YouTube as well. Get over to YouTube, give us a like, subscribe. We got Instagram, the _Cavalier _Connection. We got Facebook, YouTube at the Cavalier Connection, and at Talk UVA Sports on X. Give us a like and a follow. Share it with your friends. If you like Virginia content, if you're old like us, we're going to have old guys on that are very entertaining. If you're young, guess what? We have young people on too. Recruits, we have talked to recruit after recruit after recruit, and we're going to continue to get them on. If you have a connection with the university, tell them Cavalier Connection's the place to listen. Tell them, let those players come on the show. Tell them we want to hear from them on the Cavalier Connection. Two guard, do you have a connection? I know you're out there. I know you're listening. Two guard. You say we ask the right questions. I need you to ask the right questions to the university. Tell them we need some assistance, getting some more folks on. But other than that, Jay, you got anything else?
Big game Saturday. Can't wait. Go Hoos.
Go Hoos. We'll see you guys next time.